welcome to the Sunday Premier League Roundup show. This weekday 15, it's 4 matches for you, which will complete these fixtures, but there's some more early next week. So get yourselves on that sofa ready for the football. It's coming thick and fast through the holiday programme. I actually saw 2 games in their entirety, the other 2 just highlights for you. But let's get started with the opening salvo. It was at Ellen Road, Leeds United at home to Burnley. Leeds had a real mauling at Old Trafford in their last outing, hoping to bounce back. Burnley, after a poor start, have slowly been improving, but finding goals a bit slim. No McNeil for Burnley, and Fernandez on the bench for Leeds, but I couldn't see any other team news. And we got started, and within 3 minutes, Ayling, Leeds' captain, clipped the ball over the top of the defence. Me and Tarkowski were very slow to react, and Bamford got in ahead of them. Pope came out, there was a collision, Bamford went down, a referee pointed to the spot, VAR confirmed that, although on closer examination it looked like Pope had got a clear touch on the ball, and Bamford actually fell over his leg, but it didn't mean anything because up stepped Bamford and converted, and that was 1-0 to Leeds. Leeds, we know, are vulnerable at set pieces, so we were going to keep an eye on that. But Rafinha had a header on 15 minutes. It went just over. And then 17 minutes, Westwood, a free kick, pumped the ball forward, and me challenging for the ball with Meslier, the Leeds keeper. And Meslier got a touch to it, but seemed to be climbing on me's back and fell over, and the ball basically fell to Barnes, who was quick to latch onto it, and he shot the ball into the net, and it looked to me like it was a clear goal, but the referee had other ideas. He decided it was a foul, and it was chalked off. So Dyche already 2 incidents that he would certainly have a lot to say about in the interviews. So Leeds lucky to stay in front there. Harrison was on the penalty spot, and there was an opportunity for him after good work by Rafinha, and it was cleared off the line. But 33 minutes, Wood at the far post, heads wide after a great cross from the byline. Burnley was starting to find their feet. Rafinha, he does look a good buy. First time shot on 39 minutes, but Pope was able to manage that comfortably. And then just before the break, Alioski found Rodrigo on the 6-yard spot, but his header went over. So that was it. We got to the break. Leeds just edging it 1-0. Into the second half, and it has to be said that Burnley were on the front foot for most of it. Leeds relying on counter-attacks, but the clear-cut chances were few and far between. Meslier was performing well in the Leeds goal, although he always gives the attacking side a chance. He's a little bit young and lacks a bit of experience. Westwood shot on 53, easily handled by the keeper. Dallas on a counter on 65 minutes, but his effort went over the bar. And then an opportunity for Leeds, and Hernandez on the break. He had options, but he decided to shoot, and Pope managed to tip it round the post. And further couple of saves by Meslier to deny Burnley. Minute 81, Rodriguez now on the pitch. He had an opportunity, but his touch denied the goal. He spooned the effort over. And Darkowski found Barnes on 86, and a good shot, again handled well by the keeper. So we got into added time, and Leeds were desperately trying to hang on, and they were under siege really, but they managed it. We got to the final whistle then. Leeds had edged out a slim victory. Immediately the whistle went, Dyche ran in onto the pitch and decided that it was time to talk to the referee, but he could do nothing about the result. Final score at Ellen Road was Leeds United 1, Burnley 0. London Stadium, West Ham at home to Brighton. West Ham, of course, got rolled over by Chelsea in the last fixture. They looked pretty poor, it has to be said. Brighton, once again, continued to play well, but don't get any rewards. Lots of draws. They haven't won in 12, in fact, which suggests how they're handling scoring goals. Not very well. For West Ham team news, Cresswell was moved into the heart of the defence, and so Johnson came in at left back for him. Lallana starting for Brighton, but that was all I could see that was significant. Of course, Sanchez in goal now. Ryan seems to be on his way out of the Brighton picture. 15 minutes, Brighton certainly dominated possession and scant opportunities for West Ham. A dangerous cross by March on 17 minutes, but Welbeck used his hand to control in a dangerous situation. Webster on 26 minutes connects his head to a corner, but it was easy for Fabianski. And then on 42 minutes, again March looking dangerous, runs inside and his shot, this time handled easily by Fabianski. But eventually Brighton's pressure paid off. West Ham had been pretty disappointing, and Mopé was given an opportunity on 2 occasions in the box. The second time Rice inadvertently prodded the ball to him. This was after a challenge from a set piece. Brighton not very good at set pieces. Anyway, they're better at scoring from them, certainly. But on this occasion, the ball fell nicely to Mopé, and his shot beat Fabianski, and that was 1-0 to Brighton. And that was the score at the break. Into the second half, and a couple of changes by Moyes. Yarmolenko came on, as did Lanzini. They replaced Noble and Bowen. A bit surprised about Bowen. He'd looked bright up front, but anyway, it certainly made a difference, and they seemed to be much more on the front foot, and a right mess in the defence, Brighton's defence, and as a result, the ball fell to Johnson, and this followed a cross from Yarmolenko into the danger area, but Johnson gobbled up the opportunity, slotted it in. That was his debut goal for the Hammers, and he was absolutely delighted. From there on, it was pretty even Steven, but surprisingly, it has to be said, Brighton knuckled down, and on 69 minutes they took the lead again, this time from a corner. Dunk managed to, running through, managed to get the ball stuck in his midriff somewhere, and then it fell nicely, and he slotted it into the roof of the net. There was a question of whether it was handball, but VAR had a look at it and said no handball, so it was 2-1 to Brighton. But it was all West Ham now chasing the equaliser, and on 81 minutes a corner from Creswell was headed home by Souček. A slight bit of good fortune because it was deflected from Dunk's head. But Souček, anyway, he has a habit of scoring goals, completed the move, and so we were back at parity 2-2. Pretty good game, really, in the second half. But we ran out of time, and honours even, full-time score at the London Stadium. Another draw for Brighton. That's 7 they've had this season already. Full-time score, West Ham 2, Brighton 2. So, to Anfield then, Liverpool on top of the tree. The champions, of course, entertaining West Bromwich Albion. This is Allardyce's second match in charge. And we were all feeling that this could be lambs to the slaughter. For the team news then, Jones and Salah restored, Keita and Minamino back on the bench, and Oxlade-Chamberlain also on the bench, with Milner and Shaqiri. Haven't seen Shaqiri for some time. West Brom, Robertson in up front. Didn't take long for the West Bromwich defence to look in some state of disarray, and Mane managed to connect from the cross, and that was 1-0 for Liverpool. The expected floodgates opening didn't happen, and in fact the rest of the half there was hardly a chance created by the Liverpool attack, and West Brom were doing a sturdy bit of business in defence, and on the break they were coming into it. Grant actually caused a slight headache for Alisson, and into the second half he was at it again, and the longer the match went on, the more Liverpool looked rather edgy, and it was really with no surprise that, on 82 minutes a header from Adjiozi, I can't pronounce that name, Ayitzi, I'll get it right in a minute. Anyway, West Bromwich Albion equalised from a header from a corner, went in off the post. So that brought it level. There was a rally, of course, from Liverpool. But to be perfectly honest, they didn't have their shooting boots on. And Johnson managed to keep out a Firmino header right near the end. It was a fantastic save. But that was the total chances for Liverpool. So we got to full time, and Sam Allardyce performed some magic again. He was the last person to win at Anfield, and he done it. Well, he hadn't won, but he certainly pulled off a result almost akin to a win. Full-time score in Anfield, 1. West Bromwich Albion 1. So let's get to the final match then of match day 15. It was played at Molineux. Wolves at home to Spurs. Nice to see Jimenez in the stands watching. I don't know when he's going to be back, but Wolves certainly do miss him. But it was nice to see him there. Doherty was in for Spurs against his old club, and for Spurs, I'm just trying to check the Ndombele in midfield. Bale was on the bench, and no Dele Alli again. Of course, Mourinho had been critical of his poor play against Stoke, so it could be hard to see him back. Anyway, off we went, and it was Ndombele who got onto a cross early on. I think there was only minutes on the clock, and hit a vicious strike along the ground, and it went in left-hand side of Fabricio's goal, and that put Spurs 1-up. But it didn't capitalise really on that, although Reguilon had a header that from Ndombele that caused the goalkeeper to have to deal with it quickly. But that was about it in the first half. Wolves had one opportunity for Podence, but it wasn't a real problem for Lloris, although Silva did have a gilt-edged chance before the break, managed to put the ball wide from 6 yards. Half time then, 1-up to Spurs. Second half, and Wolves typically roared back, and eventually, I think it was in the 64th minute, from a corner, Neto managed to get the ball into the net. And as you can probably gather, I didn't really see much of this game. He levelled the scores anyway, and that was 1-1. The rest of the highlights were so brief. We were already at the full-time score, and honours even at Molineux. Wolves and Spurs sharing the spoils. Full-time, Wolves 1, Spurs 1. Right, let's summarise matchday 15 then. Firstly, my goal of the week, I haven't done this for some time, but I've got my head clear and I'm going for Xhaka. The second goal for Arsenal against Chelsea, it was an extremely good, powerful shot. So that's my goal of the week. Now to the tables. Well, let's go through it. Liverpool on top with 32 points. They're 3 ahead of their Merseyside rivals, Everton, who've got 29. Leicester in third on 28, a point ahead of Manchester United on 27. Manchester United still have that game in hand, of course. Fifth are Spurs and sixth Man City, both on 26 points. And then Villa and Chelsea on 25. At the other end of the table, Arsenal are now up to 17 points, but they're still in 15th. Brighton and Burnley are on 13 points, and Fulham up to 11 points, but they're still on 18th. West Brom, good draw, but they're still one from bottom with 8, and of course Sheffield United at the bottom with 2 points. So we've got another set of fixtures in midweek. I'll be back with that. Happy holidays.